Now, let's get into the star type families, also known as the four relationship types. First off, we have the lover, which represent green. We got the loved one, which represent red. We have the independent, which represent blue. And we have the multi-relational, which represent the purple. Okay, now the lovers are main observers. The loved ones are charismatic. The independent is a combination of the loved one and the lovers, which means that they both, charismatic, and the loved ones is a little bit more like, intellectual, things in that nature, they're more like, the thinkers, the ones who have intelligence. So the independent is like a combination of them both. And then we had the multi-relationship, it's basically the people who, like to gather in small groups, the people persons, they like to go out, and socialize with people. They're very adventurous, they like to try new things, they travel a lot, things in that nature. So, the lovers, which is the loved ones actually, which is the red, they more like fun people to be around with, they're more likely, to be as a salesman, they magnetic, they private as well, they could be claustrophobic, high maintenance, active, creative, and very constructive as well. So those are the loved ones, which represent red. Now, if we was to get into the lovers, which represent the green, these people are visionary, they caring, they organized, they server, they pretty shy, they homebodies, they providers, they could be critics, pretty receptive, compassionate, detail orientated, and things in that nature, and they also appear to be, sort of like a pushover, you understand, because of their, receptive nature. So the independent would represent the blue. Now these people, they self-sufficient, they independent, they got foresight, they fun-loving, what else, they could be, appear as being lazy, and very aloft, based on the fact, that they very independent. They don't really have, the need or desire, to be around people. Some people, they feel like they gotta have other people around them. They feel like they gotta be in a relationship, but these the independents, they pretty much, content with being by themselves. Now the multi-rational people, they got like a thirst for experience, these people like to travel, these people got a loving nature, they appear to be different, they very detail orientated, they love to socialize, they hard workers, and they pretty reactive, things in that nature. You feel me? So that pretty much explains, the star family types, when it comes to the Dharma and things in that nature. Now, as I mentioned before, you have what is called, the archetypes, which, signifies, different, consciousness, of a person's psyche, because when you look at the mind, you have the conscious, you got the subconscious, and you have the super conscious, and you also have the ego. Now the conscious mind is basically, the things, that you think of on the surface of your mind, like just say that, I want to go eat. That's on the conscious mind, or just basically whatever you think about what's on your conscious mind. Your subconscious mind, is the things that's recorded into your mind that you don't necessarily think about. You feel me? It's sort of like a natural, how should I say, reflection, in other words. So let's just say that, somebody burnt you with a cigarette or something, or, your subconscious mind will jump back. the reflex, you know what I'm saying, will hop back because it feel pain. You feel me? Or if water hits you consciously, if you see water coming down, how would you know if it's hot or cold water? Consciously. If you just see water coming down, you may see some water coming down, you may think that the water is cold. Well, what if the water is hot? What if you consciously think the water is cold, but you won't know the temperature of the water once it hits you, because then the subconscious mind will automatically, you know what I'm saying, alert you on the temperature of that water. Consciously, how would you know if somebody's house is hot and cold before you enter the house? You won't know until you enter the house. Because your subconscious mind, you know what I'm saying, will feel the temperature. But see, the subconscious mind go a lot deeper than that. See, whatever you think in the conscious mind, it has an impact on the subconscious mind. In the subconscious mind, if you feel and if you think that you're going to be successful or that you're going to manifest something, the power of the subconscious mind will manifest that. If you think the opposite, the subconscious mind will absorb that energy, will absorb them thoughts, and that what you eventually will project. See, the things that lies in the subconscious mind but won't manifest throughout the physical body or through the conscious mind until later, because you gotta look at the subconscious mind as, you know, the soil where you plant your seeds. That seed is your thought. So your thought is planted in your subconscious mind. And eventually that thought will grow, and that thought will grow into the conscious mind. And whatever happens in the conscious mind, you know what I'm saying, will eventually manifest outwardly. Then you have the superconscious mind, which is that potential that you probably may not be aware of. So, how would you know that you have great potential to be a chemist if you never studied chemistry? How do you know how much information or wisdom, understanding, intelligence you will receive if you were to study chemistry? If you were to study chemistry, you may not just know the basics of that subject. You may not just be an ordinary chemist. You may have the potential to become an extraordinary chemist, to become innovative in the field of chemistry. You may bring new things into the, you know what I'm saying, into the science of chemistry that nobody had ever thought of, nobody haven't even fathomed, including yourself. So that's sort of like the superconscious mind, that potential that is doormatted in a lot of people because they never tap into it. You understand? So these 12 common archetypes will help you discover your psychological thinking pattern and help you unravel what you have stored into your subconscious mind and in your superconscious mind. Are you following me? Okay. 12 archetypes. There are 3 types of archetypes. You have the ego, you have the soul, and you have the self. The ego represents 4 archetypes. The soul represents another 4 archetypes. And then the self represents another 4 archetypes. And 4 times 3 equals 12. Now the ego type of archetype, I'm going to name them. We have the innocent, the orphan, the hero, and the caregiver. The additional 4, which falls under the category of the soul type, is the explorer, the rebel, the lover, the creator. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we're going to get into the self types of archetypes, which will be 9, 10, 11, and 12. What you have is the juster. You have the sage, the magician, and the ruler. Now, how do you figure out your star type families, and how do you figure out your archetypes? I will teach you how to do that, in another video. But first, I just want to, bring this awareness to your consciousness, plant it in your subconsciousness as a seed, so you can go ahead and nourish this, and then, as we continue, we'll make sure that this grows. So peace, family. That's about it. You guys have a blissful day, evening, wherever you at on the face of this planet Earth. Alright?